needed money. That's the only reason I said yes to the job. 3 months, all expenses paid. $5,000 a month, plus bonus at the end if I stayed the whole time. No taxes, no questions. The catch? It was completely off-grid. A private mountain lodge, miles from the nearest town, nestled deep in the Oregon Cascades, owned by some eccentric millionaire who apparently used it a few weeks out of the year. The rest of the time, it needed to be maintained, which mostly meant keeping the pipes from freezing, checking the generator fuel, and doing basic snow clearing. The guy who interviewed me over Zoom said the owner was away in Europe for the season and wouldn't be returning until May. "You'll have full access to the lodge," he said. "Plenty of food, satellite internet for emergencies, and a snowmobile if you need to get down the mountain." Sounded too good to be true, but I was broke, jobless, and running out of time before my apartment lease ended. So, like an idiot, I said yes. They flew me to Bend, Oregon. From there, I was picked up in a black SUV by a guy named Garrett, mid-50s, gruff, wearing a flannel jacket and chewing on a toothpick like he was born doing it. "You ever done mountain winters before?" he asked me as we drove. "No, not like this," he grunted. "Hope you brought books." The drive up took nearly 2 hours. The road narrowed the higher we got, the trees pressing in on all sides. It started snowing about halfway there. By the time we reached the property, it looked like a postcard. Snow draped over log beams, icicles hanging from the roofline, mountains in the distance fading into fog. It was beautiful, massive too. The lodge had 3 stories, wraparound balconies, and floor-to-ceiling windows facing the valley. It looked like the kind of place a tech CEO would bring his mistresses. Garrett helped me unload my bags and walked me through the essentials. How to check the generator, when to run the water to avoid pipe bursts, how to radio for help if needed. Before he left, he paused at the door and looked at me like he wanted to say something else. "You hear anything weird?" he finally said. "Don't go investigating. Just radio." I laughed, thinking he was joking. He wasn't. Garrett left around dusk. I stood on the balcony with a cup of coffee, watching his taillights disappear down the snowy trail. And then, silence. Like real silence. No traffic, no humming refrigerators, no neighbors. Just wind and the distant creak of trees shifting under snow. That first night was uneventful. I explored the place. 7 bedrooms, a library, a hot tub on the back deck, even a theater room in the basement. I felt like I was squatting in someone's private dream. There were little quirks, of course. The heating system clanged like someone was hitting pipes with a wrench. The house settled loudly, groaning and popping like it was complaining about my presence. But it was nothing I couldn't handle. The first week passed quickly. I read, cooked, hiked a little during the day. The satellite internet barely worked, so I mostly stayed offline. It was peaceful. Then, late one night, maybe 2 a.m., I woke up to a loud bang downstairs. At first, I thought it was the pipes again. But then it came again. Bang. Not metallic. Heavier. Like something falling. I sat up, heart racing. Waited. Another bang. Closer now. I grabbed the flashlight and crept down the stairs. The great room was dark, lit only by the glowing embers in the fireplace. I scanned the room. Nothing out of place. Then I saw it. The back door ajar. Just barely. I hadn't opened it that day. I crossed the room slowly and shut it tight, making sure the latch caught. I figured maybe the wind had blown it open. That's when I saw the footprints. In the snow, just outside the door. A set of them, boot prints, leading from the forest edge to the porch. And none leading back. I stared out into the dark trees for what felt like an hour, heart pounding in my ears. Then I locked every single door and window in that house. After that, I started noticing more things. Small things. The smell of coffee brewing when I hadn't made any. A book in the library left open to a different page than I'd left it. A door creaking shut upstairs when I was downstairs. I kept telling myself I was just paranoid. Cabin fever. Isolation playing tricks on me. Until one morning, I found writing on the bathroom mirror. "Don't go into the basement." It was faint, like someone had drawn it with their finger in the steam. I stared at it for a long time. I hadn't showered that morning yet. There hadn't been steam. And the basement? It had been locked since I arrived. The door was heavy, reinforced with a deadbolt that required a separate key. Garrett told me not to worry about it, that it was just storage. But after the writing on the mirror, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I started sleeping with a fire poker by the bed. By the second week, I was a wreck. I barely slept. I jumped at every sound. Then came the night I saw someone. I was reading in the upstairs lounge, curled up on a leather armchair by the window. Snow was falling outside. I looked up and saw movement in the tree line. A figure, just standing there, too far to make out details, but close enough to see that they were facing the house. Watching, I ran downstairs, threw on my boots, and bolted outside with the flashlight. But they were gone. Only the faint imprint of boots in the snow, already filling back in with fresh powder. I called Garrett on the radio. He didn't answer. I tried again. Nothing. So I did the dumbest thing imaginable. I opened the basement. I found the key hidden in the utility drawer. The lock clicked open with a loud echo that made me flinch. The air that greeted me was cold and stale. The stairs creaked all the way down. I aimed my flashlight around. It wasn't storage. It was a room, or several rooms. Furnished, but sparse, bed, chair, table. One of the rooms had a wall of monitors, all off. Security cameras. Another had chains bolted to the floor. I felt bile rise in my throat. That's when I heard it. A voice, soft, raspy, from the far end of the hall. Please help. I turned, flashlight shaking, and moved toward the sound. Came from behind a locked door. A woman, whispering, crying. I tried the handle. Locked. Who are you? I asked. No answer. Just sobbing. I ran back upstairs and tried Garrett again. This time he answered. Why the hell are you in the basement? His voice was sharp, cold. There's someone locked down there, I said. You didn't tell me. Leave now, he interrupted. Get your stuff and go. Don't ask questions. You weren't supposed to go down there. What the hell is this place? You don't want to know. Just leave. I'm on my way. He hung up. I didn't leave. I should have, but I couldn't leave her down there. I went back down, this time with a hammer. I broke the door open. The room was empty. No woman, no voice, just a chair in the center of the room, and on it, a tape recorder, already playing. Please, help. Looped, over and over. I backed away slowly, chest tight, skin crawling. There was something wrong with this place. Something deeply, violently wrong. That night, I barricaded myself in the upstairs bedroom. I didn't sleep, just stared at the door, fire poker in hand, waiting for something to happen. Around 3 a.m., the power went out, and I heard footsteps. Upstairs. Deliberate. Slow. Crossing the hallway. Stopping outside my door. Then, a knock. Not hard. Just soft, patient. Like whoever was out there could wait forever. I didn't move. The knocking stopped. Then the doorknob turned. But I'd locked it. Still, I watched in horror as the knob twisted and shook harder and harder. Then it stopped. Silence. Eventually, I passed out. When I woke up, it was daylight. The door was open. Not broken, open. And there were footprints in the hallway. Small. Bare. Like a child's. I grabbed my bag, my keys, and I ran. Down the snowy path onto the snowmobile, and I didn't stop until I reached the ranger station 12 miles down. I was half frozen, rambling, barely coherent. They didn't believe half of what I said. But when Garrett arrived later that day to collect the keys, he didn't even look surprised. Just disappointed. You could have had a good payday, he said. I never went back. A few months later, I saw something online, a news story. The lodge had burned down in an electrical fire. No injuries. No investigation. But sometimes late at night, I get emails. No sender. No subject. Just images. Of that basement. The chair. The chains. And always that recorder. Still playing. Please, help.